Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name is John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 55 minutes or so discussing one of the most tried and true means of getting in front of an audience looking to purchase product that we offer, and that is through the use of direct mail. And we look to do that throughout the year to enhance our sales opportunities. We'll start with a little bit of level set about Premier Marketing. Most of the folks I see on the line are familiar with us, but for those that are not, we are a national marketing organization founded in 1968. That's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country, and we're licensed in all 50 states. We act as an insurance wholesaler, delivering product to the public through independent insurance agents such as yourself, and that is accomplished through contracts at the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available. And we do so through a full portfolio of products. This is particularly pertinent to today's conversation in the fact that this portfolio of products gives you a variety of ways of reaching out to the public, having them raise their hands, accomplishing our end purpose with that and satisfying that need, but then also making certain that we're able to cross-sell with other programs. So when we look at the strengths of our portfolio, it includes the Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and Part D prescription drug programs, but also includes life insurance and annuity products, final expense life insurance, pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, ancillary benefits such as dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, cancer, hospital indemnity, accident, and telehealth programs. Each of these have a particular appeal to the public in general, and for some people, particularly their hot button, maybe one topic or another. And so we want to make certain that we are reaching out to prospective buyers and making certain that we take care of the need that they see as most pressing. And sometimes that takes not just needs analysis through one appointment or another, but the use of that need to drum up the interest that's necessary for us to visit with people, be it live or virtually. And when we look at the Medicare Advantage portfolio, it has those national carriers on there that make a difference across the country, but also strong regionals that can be important for you in your particular market. And that same philosophy carries over into the prescription drug programs, where the standalone programs in many cases come as part of that MA contract anyway. A couple notable exceptions: Mutual of Omaha, that's a separate contract from any other offering that they have. And Clever RX is actually a discount program and not a sanctioned prescription drug plan. In the Medicare supplement arena, we want to make certain that we're appealing to people across the demographic in the Medicare population. So you have a robust portfolio and many support systems to help you be successful in this space as well. A great way of having people respond to folks on outreach through the use of these programs. When we look at ancillary programs, in each of these categories, we have the national leaders there for you, for use with our organization and your agency. And these can be of particular value in marketing because they're demand products. Many folks, as they move on from group benefits or really realize the need for dental, vision, hearing products, it's a great way to add additional marketing techniques and accomplish our goal of satisfying that need for our prospects and clients, but also give us the opportunity to create additional revenue streams for our agency as well. When we look at the Medicare market overall, we realize that today's topic goes beyond the Medicare market, but we deal very heavily in that area. And we look at a burgeoning market where you have the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, one every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day. And if you look at it based just on age, boy, it's all inspiring to a degree. But we have to realize that many folks now are working past the age of 65 for one reason or another. The pandemic has influenced some retirement both ways. We see some people on the tail end of the baby boomer scale work past the age of 65, look at 66 and a half or 67 because of Social Security and getting full benefits there. But for whatever reason it happens to be, this gives us then additional opportunities to market, because these folks have then specific needs for one reason or another based on why they're not accessing full Medicare benefits when they're first eligible. And that gives us an opportunity to appeal to the population based on, once again, that portfolio of products that we offer. Regardless of that, we have to also take into account, when we talk about the Medicare population, that portion of folks that are under the age of 65 accessing Medicare benefits because of disability. That's 15 to 17% of the population. And when you're looking at 63 million people, that's a chunk of people to talk to. And they have particular needs that we can reach through direct mail, which helps us uncover a population that otherwise is hard to get to raise a hand without some unique community-based programs in many cases. We look at the population, however, overall, we have folks that have challenges with their health. 2/3 of the population, 3+ chronic conditions, some challenges with income and assets. So uncovering this population, using some of the demographic information made available to us through the vendors that we work with in the direct mail community, can make a huge difference in uncovering people that need what we have to offer. And because of those unique needs, they also have multiple choices. When they come into Medicare, they don't even have to take Part B. They can decline it if they want to. Thankfully, most don't. Some will then self-insure for what Medicare doesn't cover on the medical side, pick up a standalone Part D program to help with the medication cost, and then look for perhaps other ways of covering the shortfall on medical expenses. Some will take those standardized, modernized Medicare supplement programs. Some will go to the bundle package of Medicare Part C, put in whatever choice they make, if they make one. We have programs that can appeal to them, and utilizing some hot programs, we can make a big difference in covering the needs that they have and helping them with choices that perhaps they just put off. Because remember, that decision to make a decision is a decision. And we can help with this regard and help uncover those choices through the direct mail process. And that's because we've got a pretty even choice as to what they're looking at. Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans, when someone first becomes eligible for Medicare or dives into Medicare, pretty even split. Some things have changed because of the pandemic, but we've got that population that may well be self-insuring. They may have retirement benefits that aren't the same as what they're accustomed to. They may be Medicare, Medicaid beneficiaries, the Medis. Whatever it happens to be, we have programs in place that can reach out into the community and appeal to the folks with specific programs, through specific programs that satisfy the need that they have. And we can help translate what the heck is going on. Acronyms are part of any industry. In our world, in the insurance world, boy, there's a ton of them out there. There's a guide on cms.gov that helps us stay in touch with, gee, what does that mean? And translate it for the folks that we have discussions with. Look at that, 10 pages, 4,420 acronyms. I don't care how long you've been in the business. Every now and then one will pop up and say, I don't know what the heck that means. Let's go look just to make certain. And that helps us communicate. That also reminds us to minimize the use of acronyms during our presentations, so we make certain that we're properly communicating with our prospects. We look at some of the different election periods, the cycle that we go through, the different special election periods, and the reasons why someone can change their coverage throughout the year, whatever it may happen to be it a special election period that's pretty standard in what we see, or some of the special election periods. Each of these categories, if you look at them, there are direct mail response or direct mail programs that can aim at that population. And by carefully manipulating the data behind it, the qualifications, the parameters of our search, we can really appeal to this population and make certain that, gee, we're dealing with someone who can make a change, who can alter their situation. And if they're not Medicare, we don't have to worry about this at all, because many of the programs that we have go beyond Medicare itself with direct mail. And we want to make certain that we address that population if we're working under 65, or fill our pipeline with different programs, through different programs for folks aging into Medicare. And when we look at those different special election periods, we've got to realize that a whole bunch of folks aren't comparing their plans annually as they should, no matter what their coverages are. And the particularly vulnerable, or the folks that have real need in one particular area or another, these may well be the folks that respond to a particular inquiry that we send out through the good old dependable United States Postal Service. And that gives us a greater response in some of those areas. And you'll see as we get into some of the vendors that we deal with and their philosophies on it, it gives us the opportunity to appeal to that particular group and make certain that they realize the changes that they have in their programs, if they stuck with it year to year, well, it may be costing them money, particularly in the area of how their medications are covered, and they're not using the resources that the government has set up for them to deliver upon the information that helps them with that decision. That is why our role as independent insurance agents is so helpful. There are folks that still receive the Medicare and You booklet through the mail. They're accustomed to that delivery system. Some may be doing it virtually, but a whole bunch of them, they still have the paper, they still read it. We then need to make certain that are the systems that we are using to elicit a response, are they utilizing a hybrid model perhaps now, where it goes beyond just a piece of mail that goes out to the population to help them understand that, hey, we have solutions to your needs, or you don't have to deal with that. We can help with those programs, and the ability to pivot back and forth, be it not just in prospecting, but the all important, gee, that's just a possibility until we talk to them and we have an appointment and we're able to serve that need. And are we able to do that in person or virtually? Because particularly the generation that we deal with in the Medicare community is becoming increasingly savvy, because they've been trained to do so over the last 2 or 3 years because of circumstance. Shoot, for over a year, you couldn't go to a doctor and see them face to face unless it was a special circumstance. So we had doctors, primary care docs, specialists, hospitals, dentists, all of the providers in the community were using virtual collection of data, virtual meetings to, well, make the experience possible and make certain that they know what's going on. It's so much part of our lifestyle now that our celebration of our faith many times is still done online. So we have a population that will respond to some things electronically, and this enables us to boost our return on our investment on our direct mail, because we're able to reach them more quickly when the lead is, finger quotes working, hot. We want to make certain that we're able to not only elicit that response, but turn that response into a client. So let's look at how we use direct mail for year-round sales opportunities and how this can benefit us all the year through. Because like just about everything that we do, it's all about consistency, all about having a plan, putting it in place, and working it consistently so we see the maximum return on our investment. Because we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket anyway. If someone comes to us, I have discussions daily with folks that say, well, how am I going to get in front of people? Well, one, don't depend on any one source. Remember, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And so we have a number of different avenues that can help us fill our pipeline. And that can be augmented by the use of a singular tool, no matter what program that we're using. Right now, we are going through a selection process for community-based programs within retail. Walmart is already putting out the list of stores that are out there and how that can be part of an ongoing program in many cases, but specifically, it's hit really hard during the annual election period. The use of direct mail can really, really help with the success of those programs, just to make certain people in that area know we're there. It's a question of knowledge is power. Well, yeah, it's also roll in the old real estate axiom of location, location, location. Is this a good store or is this a bad one? Well, a little of both in basically all the situations. How can we improve the circumstance and ingratiate ourselves with the management in those different systems? So we can do some different things across the board. If we're cold calling, there are many people out there that will warm up a cold call by sending a specific number of letters each week. And that is a basis of their, I gotta call these folks this week. And it does then give you a reference point of, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I have sent you some information on a program we're offering. I'm following up to gauge your interest and to get you additional detail as to how this can be of value to you. So you got some different things that can be done just on a cold call basis. Now keep in mind, you can't cold call for every program, but a lot of the demand product that we saw as part of that portfolio earlier, dental programs. What happens at age 65 with most dental programs? You see a rate increase. So it's a great way to build your T65 funnel by calling those 63 and a half, 64-year-olds and say, hey, got a great deal on a fee-for-service dental program. And what we mean by that is it pays in addition to whatever other coverage you need or that you have. So it gives you the opportunity to get a sale now, add to your funnel of prospects in the future, and work through those opportunities by the use of your relationship with Ma Bell. Plus, you're doing it with a specific number of letters, and that gives you then the opportunity to make certain that it's slotted into your calendar and you're doing it once again consistently. If you work community-based programs, we discussed retail very briefly, but if we're looking at faith-based venues, many times right now, these are organizations that are having some challenges as well. Attendance is down because of some of the different things that are going on out there. We all know that, but it's a great way to get information out into the community in a specific area. And through relationships with those organizations, we can send out announcements in those areas about the events that we're hosting, be they be live or virtual. So that gives us an opportunity once again to touch base with key components in our community to make certain that we're delivering a message, in this case, to folks that may not be responding to other types of marketing outreach. When we look at provider marketing, many physicians are always looking to expand the panel of patients that they have in play, and we can help with that in co-op situations, many cases with medical groups or with the doctor's offices themselves to drive them business. This is who we are, and this is how we can serve you, and these are the programs that we accept to help with the expense. So different things that can come into play there as well. Great way to get in and differentiate yourself from other people looking to access providers in your community, be they docs, specialists, dentists, whatever it happens to be. When we look at carrier programs, this is an area where throughout the year, the different insurance companies will have programs that can help reach out to the community in your target market And they do so in many circumstances through branded letters, logoed letters that announce the joys and comforts of the programs that they're offering. And they're paying for it in many cases. Or if they co-op with it, oh, gee, you're getting twice the money, whatever. Your upline, such as ours, may pitch in as well. So you're getting triple your investment, whatever it happens to be. You also have then different opportunities within the community that might be influenced by that carrier opportunity, by different events that are coming about, those different things that can make a huge difference to you in making certain that you are touching a warmer audience. Door knocking. You can do it for some programs, you can't for others. But much like the cold call program, if you're targeting a particular area, this may be a grand circumstance of announcing that you're going to be in the area for a particular time or date, and that you will be stopping by to deliver additional information. A great way to warm up the door in this circumstance. And when you couple that with a T65 locator that we'll show you toward the end of the presentation, you'll realize that, gee, this may be a great way to fill in some of those blanks in my calendar by targeting a particular area, sending a specific number of letters so I can follow up, much like with the cold calls. And I'm slotting that as part of my marketing activity consistently through the week. You know, of course, do direct mail for direct mail's sake as well, because there are programs out there that people don't respond to, dental programs, base medical coverages. We look at some of the advertisements that's going on television now in the Medicare Advantage arena. We kind of want to pull our hair out with these quasi celebrities out there combining programs, confusing people. We can make that work to our circumstance, for our circumstance, by explaining what the possibilities are, and that you are a local agent and that you will be their agent and be there for them. Where many of the call centers that are being active on television, it's kind of one and done. Boy, we got them enrolled. See you later, Tater. In any of these circumstances, it also gives us the opportunity to build on that lead through referral programs. But you can actually send letters to your book of business if you haven't been in contact with them on a regular basis, in addition to perhaps a newsletter you do electronically or by mail. Another great way of saying, hey, I enjoy being your agent. I hope you see the value that I bring to you and your household. Who do you know that I can help? A great way in each of these areas of marketing that can be augmented through the use of direct mail. And we got to remember, to paraphrase Mark Twain, the reports of the direct death of direct mail have been greatly exaggerated. Yeah, returns are a little different than what they used to be. You go to your mailbox and you, gee, wow, I'm getting bills and I'm getting direct mail. In many cases, we're not even getting bills through mail anymore. We've gone electronic with it. However, we see that if we incorporate those multiple programs, as we've just discussed, into a comprehensive plan, we're seeing that this can drive up the success of each of those areas that we're looking to utilize. Putting them as part of our overall marketing program, and the use of direct mail drives a greater response, drives greater success through the use of those opportunities. Now, we can combine social media into those programs, and you'll see that many of the direct mail carriers, the vendors that we utilize, will actually use social media in some circumstances as part of their outreach, but it's not the end all be all for everything. Not everyone is on social media, regardless of what you think about, boy, I'm going on Facebook, and some of these folks, is this their first rodeo or what? Well, it doesn't necessarily solve all of our marketing challenges, and this is a microwave way of reaching into the population, where the people on social media may be responding to multiple outreaches. If they are all the ads sponsored? If so, how quickly are people getting back to them? That's the thing with social media. If you can get an immediate response, they want an immediate response as well. So we look at the Postal Service, the tried and true way of reaching into the community, and we find that the volume of mail is still there. And it is incredible how it can work for us across the board, because 8 of 10 people still review their mail daily. You have nearly that same percentage that are preferring receiving mail over any other type of marketing methods. Gee, your phone rings off the hook like mine probably too, with spoofed emails from call centers from wherever it happens to be, and people have blockers on their phones and everything else in those circumstances. So we are seeing people that actually enjoy reviewing their mail and doing so at their leisure, studying some of the responses, and depending upon the time of the year, it can be particularly effective because they aren't receiving a commercial every commercial break. You're not getting a phone call from a robo dialer every 10 minutes, whatever it happens to be, and they're responding to that mail. And we see that the population that we reach into the Medicare community, well, many of them have taken action because of the direct mail that has been sent their way within the last year. And whatever else we can say, there's nothing else in the marketing arena that can take the place of direct mail. It's the good, solid blocking and tackling technique that renders success for so many people. And because these mail houses have done this time after time after time, they have the data, they have the outreach that helps that mail become successful. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. When you purchase a direct mail campaign from a creditable lead vendor, you're drawing upon their experience, and it's helping make you successful. And in many cases, varying the mail that's going out can be the same message, but one generic nature and one branded, perhaps with a carrier that's hot in your area, where we can get some co-op funds for that mailer as well. Gee, you're able then to do it consistently with basically the same message, a little different look, and it gives us the opportunity then to kind of farm an area and drive up our response, put our name recognition out there, and people then will look at it and go, well, gee, I know Agent Joe Smith, and from what I understand, he's going to be on the wall at the Walmart during open enrollment. Or, gee, he's working with United Healthcare. I wanted to make certain that I had the information from those carriers. He's going to be at the Kroger, or whatever it happens to be, whatever carrier it happens to be. This then gives you the opportunity to, one, stick with the same message if you choose to do so, but varying the outreach to a degree, branded versus generic, can really fuel the response as well. Additionally, the vendors that we work with all offer client databases to help you manage that response. Pardon me, frog jumped in my throat there. This gives us the opportunity that when we create a direct mail campaign, obviously it takes about a week to create the messaging that we want to do, the ordering of the process, and then mail then needs to, actually get mailed, and we need a response to come back. So that takes a little bit of time. It's not as quick as some of the other campaigns that are out there. And we want to make certain then that when a response does come back, we're able to touch them as quickly as possible. And the systems that are in play and the notification programs that are out there with the different carriers, with the different vendors, I should say, in this space, give us the opportunity to strike when the iron is hot. I keep talking about preferred lead vendors. Well, keep in mind too that Premier Marketing does offer also co-op support for direct mail based on productivity, based on what you've done with our organization. So we can drive down the cost of this mail and enable you to stick to a regimen and do it consistently. And there's two different ways that you can qualify for it. You can qualify for both. One with a direct mail program aimed at healthcare product, so the base medical, the ancillary products, things of that nature, but also then through final expense because of the income and assets that many people on Medicare have or don't have. Final expense is a great product to get in the door. We see the sands of the hourglass sometimes draining down a little bit too quickly on the top part. We become very much aware of our mortality and utilizing some different combinations of direct mail on the outreach can help us own an area, but also give us the opportunity to kick out twice amount of mail for basically a 2-for-1 type of pricing. The lead vendors that we make use of, they have these systems in place. They have the letters that are proven successful. They can speak to you about response rates. They can make certain that your efforts are not in vain, so to speak. And because they are vetted by our organization, we also help make certain that the outreach is compliant. You know, it's all well and good if we're able to get a hold of somebody and we're able to sell them, but if it's done in a non-compliant manner and we wind up in the doghouse behind the woodshed, whatever analogy we want to use, we want to make certain that that doesn't happen. And so we're working with them for catalogs of letters to be successful in your space and give you that success while still being compliant. One of the programs that we work with is through Power Mail, a great way of making certain that this is a possibility for you, and many people find success with it. A great partner in many circumstances. We also have target leads here in the DFW area. They're located in this area. Very good people to work with, great systems that come into play, and the follow-up and expertise that's necessary in order to make certain that the mail goes out, mail comes back, and we're able to talk to the people in that timely fashion. Lead Concepts, great partners. They are rolling out social media campaigns as well. So a great bunch of people to speak to. They stand behind what they offer. If the response isn't what we're looking for, they help with making that right as well. Great partners to use, great systems that come into play. Their DSNP lead programs right now are really hot and give us an opportunity to reach into the community for this particular population. They qualify for it. Great. We got programs that come into play that directly address that need. If they don't, we have other programs that can help make that a sale as well. Gee, I like this slide so much I put it in there twice, evidently. One of the things that we see too when we look at that catalog mail that I referred to, you got different outreach programs, you got different hot buttons to push, and we can vary them, and we want to make certain that we are utilizing a controlled approach, a consistent approach, and sometimes that means varying that approach as well. And they actually have letters across the board, not just Lead Concepts, but the other vendors as well that help us with our retail programs, announcing that we're there, making the population in an area aware of what we're doing. And that alone may not only drive business to the store that we're working with, but give us other marketing opportunities for folks that say, hey, this looks good. They're delivering information to the population. I bet the folks at the church would really appreciate our being able to visit about these programs as well. So some different things that can come into play to help us. Kramer Direct, another DFW type of company or located company, great reputation for a number of years. Another partner that we utilize with a catalog of letters that are made available to you. ARM, another DFW company. It's kind of like is Tennessee the home base for a bunch of insurance companies, or Omaha? Yeah, well, DFW might be that kind of thing with direct mail programs. These are good people. They are. It's a family-owned organization, as many of these are, but they have the experience as well to help you be successful in whatever area you're working through and give you the advice to set up that consistent program as well. For those that may not want to fund an entire direct mail program, we also, and I should push this back one more slide, our mother company, our mothership, has just announced the partnership with MailPro as well. So we're having another vendor come into play here very quickly. Right now, a lot of that is centered upon life insurance needs. We'll see some of that come into some different areas very soon, but we've seen great success with that organization in that area of insurance. If you are looking at that, it can make a big difference to you. What your insurance group does with these never distributed direct mail responses is they're looking at these and they're offering them to you as an agent, untouched, still fresh, and you can plug holes in your calendar with it or utilize this for gee, I know I've got a response. I know this is coming into play. I'm willing to pay this much for this different individual who has raised their hand. No one's talked to them yet, and speak to them in the categories that are available through this program. Direct mail program, just handled a little bit differently. And this is something too that as you go through and you look at your calendar week over week and you see, gee, there's a hole in my calendar here. It is, I don't think I can fill that by smiling and dialing. I don't have some community activity in that time period. This is a great way to plug that hole and get additional activity as well. And you'll see, like, even in our proprietary legacy safeguard program that helps with the pre-planning portion that leads you into a final expense sale, they give you an idea as to how much mail you need to kick out for how many responses and how much revenue that's going to drive for you through the use of direct mail. So a great way of making certain that you're getting enough out there in order to get the response that you need and give you an indication of what's going to be the return on my investment. It's going to cost me this much, but I'm going to make this much. So that gives you the palatability aspect of it. Now I'm spending some money, but I'm going to be making a whole bunch more money because I'm going to integrate everything into a comprehensive plan in each of those different categories that we've talked about. And we're going to use that portfolio throughout the year. So we can vary our outreach based on our comfort level with the different programs that come into play. A great way for us to become more versed in different programs that we may not have offered in the past. And we have those subject matter experts in our offices that can help you in each of these different categories. So one of the things we got to really make certain that we do as we create our plan now and throughout the year is, are we going to rotate topics? Are we going to stick to a singular outreach, but perhaps change the look? What are we going to do? Or are we just going to hammer it month after month with some of the same ideas and make certain that we are getting that return off our commitment to direct mail because we're being consistent? Because if you look at it, this gives us that cross-selling opportunity to drive up our retention across the board as well. Because it's not just what you sell, it's what you keep. And studies have shown that the more programs you have in a household, the higher your retention, the higher your persistency. That is our salary year over year as straight commission individuals. That gives us then the opportunity to keep more of what we've done in the past. It's another side benefit that we don't necessarily look at or factor in when we're talking about, here's the cost of this program. This is what I see as a direct response to my investment up front. Look at some of the back end stuff as well. And that can really help you rationalize and deal with the costs that may be associated with these programs. So we're looking at a plan that targets a market, what programs we're going to use, what products that come into play, what carriers that come into play, how often are we going to do it? Are we doing different programs weekly? Are we doing one monthly or varying it monthly? Whatever it happens to be, how much money are we going to budget to it? And that may be affected by the other folks that are going to chip in, your upline, the carriers, whatever it happens to be. But a plan, well, a goal, if you don't do something about it, it's worthless. So we need to put it into play. We need to execute, and we need to do some things to make certain that we're doing it on a consistent basis to drive our response overall. Because that persistency, it's much like working out. You only do it every now and then, all you're going to do is feel the pain. You're not going to see some of the results. If you're doing it consistently, we build upon what we've done in the past. It helps our overall success and just makes the world look better, work better, and be better for us. So why do you want to do this through Premier? We're going to do some different things to help you along the way. And that includes reaching into our bag of tricks, our carriers that we share across the board, and work up those contracts to make certain we have the programs for that portfolio approach. So with Surance Bay, you can create your agent profile, putting the data in there that's necessary for contracting across the board, and then contract electronically. You see a big push for electronic action across the board, starting with contracting, going into delivery of systems, going into the execution of those systems, the sales process, whatever it happens to be. There's got a reason for it. One of it is years ago when I was a regional with a carrier in their special needs programs, we had over 80% of our applications. Now, keep in mind, we were past chisel and stone, but it was still paper. 80+% of those applications were pending because we had to translate our handwriting on those applications. You do things electronically, you don't have that challenge. You can't submit something incomplete, and it just helps the process overall. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to put your stuff all in one place and make certain that it's there for you. We do offer discounted E&O for qualified agents. What's a qualified agent? Well, you got a contract with us. The errors and admissions coverage is a necessity dictated by the insurance companies, no matter whom you're contracting through or with whom. And this is a program where you're not being added to a blanket E&O policy for just one program. You own it, and it protects you across the board. It also gives you the opportunity to satisfy that errors and admissions requirement with the insurance companies, no matter who your upline is. We're a large organization. We offer a ton of different possibilities. We don't have every carrier in the world. No one does. This gives you the opportunity to make certain that you're satisfying this requirement, regardless of the outreach to initialize that process. That same sort of electronic follow-up is also made available through discounting it, continuing education programs through our association with WebCE, a great way to make certain that your license stays in play. And you also have a way of getting modified guarantee issue, disability income coverage for yourself, where you're paid a commission on that program through these individuals that can help you in that area. Independent agents, we got to make certain that we're looking at our own benefit package as well. This is a great way to add to it. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, past presentations have been as well. As I mentioned when we started, they're available on our website, on our YouTube channel, and they're there for you 24/7. So as you go into this process and you hit an area that you may not be as familiar with, it's off business hours, you want to do this study as you can. This is a great way for you to access information 24/7. And we make available some of that electronic support that I mentioned early in the presentation through our use of Medicare Center. This is available without cost to our contracted agents and those of our partners within Integrity, and available without cost. Why do you keep saying that, John? Well, I'm an old MA agent. I have a hard time with the word free. It's available to you without cost. It has a singular universal login to access 3 different quoting engines powered by Connecture, Sunfire, and CSG. It enables you to kick out side-by-side plan comparisons compliantly and collect those scopes of appointment that's necessary beforehand through multiple methods, and store it for that 10-year period whether you sell them or not, because gee, you got to do that. The government requirement, one of the lovely things with the oversight that we're subject to, it does come with a client database as well that you can utilize throughout the year and do your annual reviews as well, and has other resources in there such as sales scripts, other tips to help make you successful. A great tool made available without cost to you. It gives you that opportunity through the programs, particularly with CSG, to cross-sell and make certain that you have what you need to do your business as efficiently, as effectively, and as compliantly as possible. We also have a page on our website that makes certain that you realize all of the compensation to which you are due with these different programs. You will see that Medicare Advantage and PDP programs, well, comp set by the government on maximums that they can pay out on that. But the ancillary programs, Med Sup, life insurance programs, final expense, there are carrier incentives involved in many circumstances that can pay you extra. It may help you qualify for carrier trips and our incentive programs as well. So we have that all in one spot on our website to make certain that you realize the extra dollars that are made available to you through these programs. We talk about not putting all your eggs in one basket. We've gone through the majority of these earlier in today's presentation. I want to spend just a moment on the internet leads. We have them available for final expense and for Medicare as well, generated off of Facebook. But that T65 locator that I mentioned earlier, this too is a, oh gee, John, in your best JJ Walker imitation, it's free. You download it to your smartphone, you register for it. They find that you have contracts with us, contract even, and it gives you the opportunity then to put in parameters that help you identify where people live. So if you're one of those door knockers and you're doing it compliantly, God bless you, this is a tool to use. And as I mentioned earlier, if you've prepped an area with some direct mail to warm up those responses, it can make a big difference as to your reception and a great way for you to fill in spots within your schedule. We do all this because we want your business. We want to work with you as well, and we want to make certain that we deliver upon promises that are made to you by our organization. And it gives you the opportunity to do these different things quickly. You make them part of your personal marketing plan. It's a great way for you to refine your scheduling, and you can put it in play very, very quickly. And that gives us then the opportunity to become a true partner. For those of you that have worked with us in the past, I thank you for that business. For those of you that may be considering working with us now moving forward, I thank you for that opportunity. But regardless, for whomever is viewing today's presentation, thank you for the time that you put in with us today. It's your most valuable resource. We want to deliver upon topics of value, and you have the ability to access this program through recordings on our website and on our YouTube channel and through your contact with Premier as well. So thank you for that. I'm going to check for questions one last time. We appear to be good. With that, I will bid you a fond adieu, so to speak, and thank you once again for your time. And until we're able to visit in the future, I wish you good selling. Thanks so very much. We'll talk to you soon.